Imagine coming home from a nice dinner out, only to find 3 police cruisers in your driveway and officers walking through your living room. You haven't done anything wrong, and you certainly didn't give them a warrant, but here is the terrifying reality. Your 19-year-old babysitter just legally gave them permission to search your entire house. Most homeowners think their privacy is bulletproof as long as they don't say yes to a search, but the police have a specific legal loophole they use to bypass you entirely, and it's called apparent authority. I'm Aden, the people's lawyer, and in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how cops trick your guests and employees into surrendering your Fourth Amendment rights, and I'm going to give you the exact house rule script you need to teach anyone who has a key to your home. You have to understand the trap here. Under the Supreme Court case of Illinois versus Rodriguez, the police do not actually need the homeowner's permission to enter. They only need permission from someone they reasonably believe has the authority to let them in. This could be a roommate, a frequent guest, or even a babysitter. If the person answering the door looks like they live there or have control over the space, and they say, "Sure, come on in," the law considers that valid consent, even if you would have screamed "no" at the top of your lungs. Officers are trained to use a very low-pressure, polite approach for this. They won't show up with a battering ram. They'll show up with a smile and say something like, "Hey, we're just checking on a report in the neighborhood. Do you mind if we step inside for just a second to clear this up?" To a teenager or a guest, it feels rude to say no to a polite request from a person in a uniform. But that casual, "I guess so," is the only key the cops need to start snooping through your private belongings. Now, you might have heard of the case Georgia versus Randolph, which says if you are standing there and you object, you can overrule your spouse or roommate's consent. But that only helps you if you are actually present. If you are at work or out for the night, you are completely vulnerable to whatever your guest decides to do. So how do you protect your castle? You have to sit down with your kids, your roommates, and your babysitter and have the consent conversation. You need to make it a mandatory house rule that they are never permitted to allow law enforcement inside unless there is a warrant. Here are the exact magic words you need to teach them to say through the door. And remember, they should never even open the door in the first place. If the police knock, they should stay inside and say, "I do not have the authority to give consent for you to enter or search this home. You will have to contact the homeowner." This simple phrase shuts down the apparent authority trap instantly because the officers have now been put on legal notice that the person at the door cannot give them the permission they are fishing for. Tell your guest that it isn't about being rude. It's about exercising a constitutional right that belongs to the whole household. If the cops truly have a warrant, they don't need permission, they'll show it to you. But if they're asking, it's because they need a yes to get around the Fourth Amendment. Educating your inner circle is your best line of defense against these sneaky tactics. But what happens if the cops don't try to talk their way in, and instead they claim they're entering for a welfare check? That's an entirely different trap, and I break down exactly how to handle it in this next video. So click right here, and I'll see you over there.